Hello, crafty friends. Jessie Katz Greenberg here, and today we're going to be turning the cover of a Valentine's chocolate box into some floral Valentine's Day decor. You'll need faux florals, scissors, a hot glue gun, you may want red paint or a red permanent marker, and strips of ribbon or fabric. You can ignore the fact that my box is looking a little worse for wear. It's because I actually tried this project a different way, didn't love it, tore it apart, and here we are with take two. Let's start by hot gluing florals inside of our box. When attaching smaller flowers like this, you can glue the flower pretty much right up against the edge of the box. But for larger flowers like this orange one, you want to have the flower sitting slightly further away from the edge so that way the flower petals sort of align with the curve of that heart shape. I happen to be using the lid of the heart-shaped chocolate box, but you can use the lid or the bottom part of the box for this. So really, you're getting two projects in one out of that candy box, so this is your excuse to go buy yourself some chocolate. When gluing your flowers down, you want to hold them in place for several moments while the glue cools. We're going to be putting a lot of flowers inside this box, kind of shoving them up next to each other and holding them in place while the glue cools a bit and becomes a bit more secure. Will just ensure that everything stays put right where you want it. I find it super helpful to hold the flowers where you think you might want them to kind of plan things out before committing and gluing them down. So you'll see in just a minute, I'm gonna speed it up here, but I'm trying to figure out where these two larger flowers should go. And so I spent quite a bit of time just sort of holding them inside the box, rearranging them to decide where they looked best. Ideally, you want to be working with a variety of contrasting colors, sizes, textures, and you want to have all of those different elements somewhat evenly dispersed throughout your project. If you're enjoying this tutorial so far, or maybe you have your own idea of how to put a unique spin on it, go ahead and like this video and drop your idea in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more craft tutorials. I'm really trying to make the box look nice and full of flowers here. So as I attach more and more flowers, I'm sort of picking up petals from other flowers and nestling flowers right up next to each other. You could even glue petals together if you had to. So that way I'm not seeing the white background of the box and I'm just seeing it totally full of flowers. I really want my flowers to emphasize the heart shape of the box. So down here at the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and glue some flower petals to that point here. So that way we really get this heart shape. I always feel like the key to adding depth and dimension to your faux floral crafts is incorporating leaves and greenery. This one update will also help your faux florals to look a little bit more realistic. And you don't really need many leaves to achieve that. In this case, I'm gluing in like 5 to 7 leaves just dispersed throughout the florals. And because, again, I really want to define this heart shape, I want the florals to follow it very clearly. I'm going to just hot glue some of the petals to the edge of the box so that way the heart shape is really prominent. So your project could be finished here. This was actually my original intention, but I didn't love the white edge of the box here. So I actually went through two ideas of how to cover this, and I'm going to show you both. The first one was painting it with red acrylic paint. You could also use a red permanent marker for this. The edge of the box has a really fun, reflective, like metallic red. And so I thought that painting this lip red would just help the box to kind of go together a bit better. If you do choose this route, be sure to add 2 to 3 coats so that you have a nice solid red edge to your box. So here's option 1. The box looks great as is. We've disguised that white edge with red paint. You could add ribbon to the back to hang and you're good to go. But I still felt like I needed more texture, so we're gonna go ahead and hot glue down strips of red velvet fabric. You could also use ribbon for this. Starting at the bottom of the heart, I added about an inch of hot glue and started adding the fabric. You can see I was hoping that I could put the fabric down and then sort of slide it back to pleat it, but the fabric I'm using just stuck to the painted box immediately and you couldn't slide. So I had to like manually fold and pleat the fabric around the box. You want to only add about an inch or so of hot glue at a time because anything more than that, you just don't have time to pleat and half of your glue will cool before you even get to attach anything to it. I cut my strips of fabric about an inch and a half wide, but you could do this with wider. I think if you did it with much wider, getting the top of the heart shape would be a little bit difficult, but you could go a little wider, you could go thinner, you could even layer two different fabrics together. There are tons of ways to add texture here. When I finished my first strip, I just went ahead and started adding a second strip as if the first one had never ended. I overlapped by a little bit, by about a half an inch or so, and then just started pleating like normal. I overlapped at the end about a half an inch or so as well, just so there's a good heavy piece of ribbon around your entire box. The top here was the trickiest part just because you're working with a lot of fabric inside that point of the heart. But if you just go slow, it's going to look great. And there is more fabric here pleated, but it just defines the heart shape nicely. And with all of these pleats, especially with shiny fabric or ribbon like this, you are not going to notice any imperfections at the end of this. So again, we're really on a journey with this project. It could have been finished here, but I didn't love that I could see the white edge inside the box. So I'm going to use a red permanent marker like I did here to color in the edge. You technically could use paint for this, but I think you'd really risk getting paint on your flowers. So I just went carefully along the edge and the inside edge with this red marker. It's a subtle difference. You can see here on the right side, I've already colored it in with marker. And on the left side, you see the thin white edge and the white on the inside. So subtle, but I do think it makes a big difference in the finished project. So we'll go ahead and color in the left side. And I think this is finally looking the way that I want it to. The last detail is to add a ribbon or a hook to the back because I want to hang this on my front door. You could definitely use the same ribbon or fabric scraps that you used to create the border of your heart for this, but I had some thinner red ribbon, so I went ahead and used that. The ribbon is very thin material, so to press it against the hot glue, I use the tip of my scissors, just that way I don't burn my fingers. And the box is ready to go. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more craft tutorials, and if you try this project, please tag me anywhere you share it at Jessie Katz Greenberg. Thanks for watching.